Good afternoon.
Hello. Hi.
My name's Ellen.
I'm Courtney.
We're from Integrated Wellness Clinic, and today we're going to be talking about adrenals and stress response in the body. So this is most likely something that everyone has experienced at some point in their life, and it's a super duper common thing that we see in the clinic, probably every day. Or sometimes people who don't actually realise that they're stressed as well are coming in for things that are caused by stress.
That's right.
So we'll be talking to Courtney today about adrenals and stress, about how we can test for it, what kind of things we actually do for this, just to give you a little bit more insight. So Courtney, just tell me about different kinds of symptoms that you might see in someone who is having adrenal issues.
Sure. So because it drives the entire way the body functions in terms of energy as well as sleep, some of the first signs can be just about whether you're tired at the right times and awake at the right times, but also sleep, quality of sleep, things like memory. I'm going to try and talk about the things that seem less obvious as opposed to just fatigue. We might have mood changes. We might be irritable. We might be manic. We might be emotional, teary. We might find our immune system starts to fail us. We might find we have trouble dealing with foods. We feel bloated, but not all the time, and not for the same foods every time. We might end up having period or cycle problems if we're females. We might have fertility issues. Gosh, the list is really endless. We might have weight issues. We might feel different in our body. We might look different in our body. And we often really just dismiss things like stress. As Ellen said, everyone deals with it and experiences it. But ultimately, I suppose, evolutionarily speaking, we weren't particularly designed as a species to spend a lot of time in a stressed state.
In that stressed out mode.
Yeah, so because there's a couple of different modes, isn't there, for our stress. So I'll talk really quickly about what stress is and the nervous system that drives it. So we've got an automatic or autonomic nervous system that's branched off into two different categories. It's lots of ways it's always described in the industry. It can be on and off, or fight and flight mode and rest and digest mode. And ultimately, we're not particularly designed to spend lots and lots of time in our fight and flight mode, and it's called fight and flight for a reason. Because again, as hunter and gatherers, the things that were a stress to us was being eaten by something bigger than us. So we were running or fighting for our lives. But the ironic thing is that even though in 2018 there's nothing going to actually come out and eat me, we hope not. We're actually physiologically having the same response. So the blood drives from our digestive system into our big muscle groups to run and fight for our lives. That alone stops good digestion, because remember, the calm state of the nervous system is called rest and digest. So just taking that one simple element means that the more stressed we are, even if it's not acute exam, got a bill to pay in the mail kind of quick stress, it's that long, low-grade chronic stress, you're not digesting food. And if you're not digesting food, you're not absorbing nutrients. And if you're not absorbing nutrients, you can become deficient, and then you've got another kind of...
all these pathways.
Exactly. And that is really the quickest and briefest explanation I can give for how the nervous system actually works.
Yeah, okay. And what about actually testing for those kinds of hormones? Because basically we're talking about the hormones, right? Like your cortisol and the link with the circadian rhythm, with your melatonin and everything like that. So I suppose adding in that shift working can also take a big hit with that. Yeah. But how do we actually test cortisol?
So with cortisol being the major hormone produced to create awakeness and sleepiness, and in conjunction with the melatonin, as Ellen said, the most accurate way that we find measuring the hormones for energy is saliva. It's more accurate. We often really encourage patients to take some samples throughout different times of the one day to get a scope of the rise and the fall and natural, supposedly evident natural rise and fall of your cortisol. Because if there isn't a natural rise and fall, therein kind of lies the problem. What would that actually look and feel like? Waking tired all the time. I had 8 hours sleep, and yet I wake feeling unrefreshed. I'm buzzing around at 10 p.m. Look at me going. I'm on my phone and talking to everyone and watching TV. And
I really need 4 hours of sleep to function.
Yeah, I was so tired when I woke up this morning. That's a sign maybe cortisol's too high in the evening. So we don't shoot fish in a barrel as naturopaths. We find the answers we seek by asking the body the right questions, and we ask the body the right questions by doing functional testing. So saliva testing would essentially be somewhere we would start with the patient.
So we can test the cortisol through saliva, and then if the cortisol was to come back high or low, then what do we do about it, Courtney?
Perfect. So if you've watched any of our Facebook Lives before, thanks for joining us again. If this is your first time, we always talk with passion about our herbs. So herbal medicines is what sets us aside from other practitioners that might be able to help your cause. And we have some of the most fantastic adrenal tonics that can support, nourish, and tonify an adrenal system. We have another category of herbs called adaptogens, and what they're going to do is they're going to essentially adapt the body during times of stress. What more perfect solution could you ask for? So we assess an individual, assess the morning and or evening requirements. We may even make a morning and or evening actual formula that you take at different times to do different jobs. We're going to do a full blood work and work with your GP and identify any nutrition insufficiencies, because something as simple as some of your B vitamins being deficient, that's going to affect energy making channels.
And mood.
Exactly.
And
yeah. So we've got some of the most fantastic treatments in terms of herbs, but as naturopaths, we're obviously going to talk to you about your diet and your lifestyle, and spend a lot of time supporting and educating you around self-care, which is you taking care of yourself on an ongoing basis to, I suppose, eliminate and reduce any adrenal stress, fatigue or issues in the future, because we're more than happy to fix you and support you and harmonise you, but then we want you to stay exactly at the optimum health that we get you at for the long term, and we do that by helping you with your self-care.
Yeah, and I guess that's the thing, isn't it? We can, we have herbs and nutrients that we can use to give you more energy quite quickly, but why do you actually have that low energy to begin with? Or why is that immune system actually run down to begin with? Yeah. So thinking about the long term and that more corrective treatment is really important, and what we like to focus on a lot as naturopaths, rather than feeling like you just have to be on those B vitamins forever or be on the vitamin C forever or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
So fixing the cause is much more important, I believe.
Definitely. And that's where looking at all the elements to you. So looking at diet, looking at lifestyle. So there could be something super unobvious to you, but something that could be an ongoing factor in your stress, and that's obviously causing energy or sleep problems, and we can help you identify and provide ways to change that. And we love goal setting here at our clinic. We actually sit down with you at the beginning of our treatment and work out and prioritise the things you'd like to achieve, and we help you reach those. And they might be things that you sort of outside of the normal clinic setting, help you with self-care goals, introduce you and encourage you with things like yoga and mindfulness and a whole kit of things that can be really useful to you long term, long after we part ways as a client sort of practitioner.
Yeah. If you have any questions about cortisol or adrenals, please just comment in the comment section below and we'll get back to you, because it is a really big topic, and the way that the adrenals function is to do with the whole body. So like Courtney was saying at the start, is that it's not just one or two different symptoms that you might experience, is that it can be a whole big range of things. So I guess speaking to someone who knows a bit about it and who can guide you in the right direction of what to do is probably the best way to go about it. Yeah. But please comment if you have any questions, and thank you for listening.
Yeah, we'll see you next time. Have a great day.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.